Hello and welcome to World Today. I'm Geeta Mohan. Winter is coming. In fact, in many parts of the world it has arrived. But there is no let-up to increasing gas and crude prices. To top it, the latest decision of OPEC has put the West, particularly the United States of America, in a tizzy. Put this in perspective. There is the Khashoggi case in the United States of America, which is not going Saudi Arabia's way. And despite heavy engagement and assurances, it seems like Biden's fist bump diplomacy with the Saudis has come to a knot. It seems like the Arab world has done to the US what US did to Ukraine, made promises but hardly kept their word.
The biggest cut in oil production since 2020, the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and its allies, a group known as OPEC Plus, will limit its collective oil output by 2 million barrels a day. This has created shockwaves across the world. The decision will lead to a sharp rise in global oil prices and take it beyond the $90 benchmark. This is a huge blow for the US, which has not only been trying to prevent the cut in oil output, but has been attempting to increase the supply of oil, calling on some of its closest Arab allies, starting with Saudi Arabia, where Biden visited in July and met with the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, much to the chagrin of human rights activists, organizations and even some of his own advisors. But it is the Khashoggi trial in the US that could be one of the reasons for Saudi Arabia to pull the plug.
Mistakes happen all over the world, and the important thing is to deal with them effectively and decisively. The idea that one can impose values on other countries, His Royal Highness made clear, does not work. It has not worked when the US tried to impose values on Afghanistan and Iraq.
Also, the Saudis and all of OPEC worried that the specter of global recession was driving prices down from $120 a barrel over the summer to below $80. Below that level, they fear budgets have to be cut and social stability will be threatened.
If you permit me, Royal Highness, we are not endangering the energy markets. We are providing security, stability to the energy markets.
At a price.
Everything has a price. Energy security has a price as well.
The most pivotal and more important thing for all of us in this table and others who have a huge amount of hydrocarbon resources is to make sure that we have a stable, sustainable, stable market that will not inhibit investment, that will not inhibit growth of demand, and we have to act in a way, in a responsible way, to assure people that we are still remaining a responsible producers, that the world can rely on us.
A miffed America has called this move short-sighted, one which will come as a huge shot in the arm for Russia in its war in Ukraine.
OPEC, we've made clear our views to OPEC members. We have a multiplicity of interests with regard to Saudi Arabia, and I think the President laid those out during his trip, and they include everything from regional relationships, including improving relations between Arab countries and Israel, Yemen, where we're working very closely with Saudi Arabia to try to continue the truce, and a number of other issues, and those were all reflected in the visit. But we are working every single day to make sure, to the best of our ability, that, again, energy supply from wherever is actually meeting demand in order to ensure that energy is on the market and that prices are kept low.
Ahead of midterm elections in the US, the decision by OPEC and its allied oil producers have underscored the challenges that Biden administration faces in managing its domestic, foreign and economic policy at a time when the global economy is at risk of recession. Interestingly, the meeting in Vienna was attended by Russia's Deputy Prime Minister, who is under US sanctions. It came after a concerted but ultimately unsuccessful diplomatic effort by Washington to halt the oil production cut, a signal that Biden's influence over his Gulf allies was far less than he had hoped.
OPEC and OPEC Plus formats are institutes that have repeatedly confirmed their credentials as very responsible organizations which support market stability on the global energy markets. So the decisions they have made are aimed at stabilizing the oil market. We are talking not about solidarity with a particular country, our country or any other. Stable markets are in everybody's interests.
Здесь речь идет не о солидарности с какой-то отдельной страной, не с нашей, ни с какой.
The production cut will reduce global daily production by about only 2%. Its effect on prices may be greater, upward of 15 to 30 cents a gallon at the pump, experts estimated. The big test for the US will be living up to the expectations of its allies who were assured supply if they reduce dependency on Russian oil and gas. With this move, it seems like the winters and the November midterms are going to be cold and harsh.
Staying with the Russia-Ukraine war, it's Elon Musk who now waded in. Musk tweeted Russia-Ukraine peace plan and also got schooled on Twitter. After Musk said Ukraine must cede Crimea for good, Zelensky holds Twitter poll against Musk. Here's a report.
Elon Musk, the richest man on the planet and the eccentric owner of Tesla and SpaceX, has made a controversial proposition to solve the biggest geopolitical crisis of the 21st century. Taking to microblogging site Twitter, Elon Musk offered a simple peace plan to solve Russia-Ukraine conflict. The outspoken billionaire called for a UN-supervised re-election in 4 Ukrainian regions recently annexed by Russia. Musk also proposed that Ukraine cede Crimea for good and assure water supply to the region annexed by Russia in 2014. Musk put out the peace plan in the form of a poll and asked Twitter users to weigh on it. The controversial plan sparked a flurry of outrage from netizens who saw the proposal as a betrayal by Musk. Musk has previously supported Ukraine, deploying his Starlink satellite internet service to help the Ukrainian efforts. The poll also invited sharp reaction from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Zelensky responded with a poll of his own, asking Twitter, which Musk do you like more, the one who supports Ukraine or the one who supports Russia? Several NATO leaders criticized Musk's solution to end the Ukraine conflict, including the Lithuanian President Gitanas Nausėda. Musk has defended his stance, claiming it will be the eventual outcome, but with higher casualty and a looming threat of a nuclear war. Twitter is divided over Musk, wondering whether Musk is serious about a peaceful resolution or is it all just a game for the billionaire. Bureau Report, India Today.
Shifting focus to the other big story, the Korean peninsula has witnessed a sharp increase in tensions after North Korea tested a ballistic missile on 4th of October. The test marked the first time that a missile launched by the DPRK flew over Japan since 15 September 2017, leading to heightened tensions and worries of safety of nationals in Japan as also in the United States of America. Why is Kim Jong-un indulging in provocations? We explain.
North Korea test-fired a ballistic missile on October 4th that flew over Japan. A massive provocation. The USS Ronald Reagan and its striking group of accompanying warships was abruptly redeployed in response to North Korea's IRBM launch over Japan. An urgent meeting of the Security Council was convened to discuss the situation in the Korean peninsula.
The DPRK has enjoyed blanket protection from 2 members of this council. These 2 members have gone out of their way to justify the DPRK's repeated provocations and block every attempt to update the sanctions regime. In short, 2 permanent members of the Security Council have enabled Kim Jong-un.
North Korea, however, says it was in response to South Korea and US warplanes conducting bombing drills the same day. The North condemned the United States for talking to the United Nations Security Council about Pyongyang's so-called countermeasures. They said, "We are watching the United States posing a serious threat to the stability of the situation on the Korean Peninsula and in its vicinity by redeploying the aircraft carrier in the waters of Korean Peninsula." The situation has worried nations for which DPRK poses grave threat and danger. Sirens have sounded out in central Tokyo for the first time in 5 years. South Korea's military mobilized 4 F-15K fighter jets and dropped a pair of guided bombs on a target off its west coast, in what was described as a demonstration of precision strike capability. The US sent 4 F-16 fighter jets in the drills.
But I also want to make very clear that our commitment to the defense of our allies and partners, Korea and Japan, is ironclad. We believe that North Korea would be much better served by not only refraining from these actions, but actually engaging in dialogue. I think what we're seeing is that if they continue down this road, it will only increase the condemnation, increase the isolation.
The DPRK has carried out 23 tests involving ballistic or cruise missiles this year, a record number. Following a nearly 4-month hiatus, the DPRK resumed conducting ballistic missile tests on 25th September. This was ahead of US Vice President Kamala Harris's scheduled visit to South Korea.
The DPRK has a ballistic missile launch program, apparently, including just yesterday, and are destabilizing the peace and security of this region. Our shared goal, the United States and the Republic of Korea, is a complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula.
North Korea, a satellite state of China, takes orders from Beijing whether it is to warn US of its growing presence in the Korean Peninsula or the recent increase in its footprint in the Taiwan Strait. The message very clear from Xi Jinping: steer clear of the dragon's backyard.
Sikh family in California has sent shockwaves across the world. All 4 members of the Sikh family kidnapped in California earlier this week, including an 8-month-old baby girl, were found dead in an orchard on Wednesday. The Merced County Sheriff's Office has released shocking CCTV footage showing how the 4 members were kidnapped at gunpoint from a trucking company in Central California on Monday. The suspect in the video is seen strolling near the Sikh family's business and later talking to one of the family members. The video also shows the kidnapper leading mother and her 8-month-old baby untied out of the building into a truck. The Chief Minister of Punjab has sought intervention of the Ministry of External Affairs for probe into the gruesome murder of this family.
We have no motivation behind it. We just know that they are gone. We've got evidence to indicate that the individuals involved in this destroyed evidence in an attempt to cover their tracks.
Moving forward, we have a shocker after shocker from the United States of America. A 20-year-old Indian origin student was killed in his dorm by his Korean roommate at the Purdue University in Indiana. Varun Manish Chera died of multiple forced traumatic injuries after his Korean roommate brutally stabbed him. His roommate, Ji Min Shah, who is in police custody, called 911 around 12:45 a.m. himself to alert the police about Chera's death. Authorities said the incident happened in a room on the 1st floor, but several heard his screams on Wednesday. Police have also asserted that the reason behind the killing is not known yet. Varun's friends and Indian community in Indiana held candlelight vigil seeking justice for the 20-year-old. And here are some other stories in World at a Glance.
The Norwegian Nobel Committee has decided to award the Nobel Peace Prize for 2022.
This year, the Nobel Peace Prize has been jointly awarded to Belarusian activist Ales Bialyatsky and Ukraine's Center for Civil Liberties and Russian Human Rights Organization Memorial. The prize will be awarded on December 10th on the death anniversary of Alfred Nobel. A day after a deadly attack on a daycare center in Thailand, Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha visited the attack site. He paid respect to dozens of children and others who were killed. The attacker, a former police officer, killed at least 38 people, including 24 children, in a mass shooting. But Reuters could not immediately verify the report. A New York Times report claims United States intelligence agencies believe parts of the Ukrainian government had approved a car bomb attack near Moscow in August that killed Daria Dugina, the daughter of prominent Russian nationalist. But nobody else has verified the report. Leaders from 44 countries gathered the launch of European Political Community to boost security and economic prosperity across the continent. But Russia was not invited. It is the brainchild of French President Emmanuel Macron and is backed by German Chancellor Olaf Scholz.
These past few weeks have lent a new voice to rights of women. Mahsa Amini's death has started a revolution. But it's not just the women in Iran. There are women in the Arab world, in Africa, Afghanistan, Pakistan, the Indian subcontinent who have realized that it is now or never. Women suffer even in the developed world, in the East and the Far East. To all those women, I say, stand up now. It is now or never. And I, today, stand up in solidarity with all these women and the fight for freedom. To women, life, freedom. Goodbye and take care.
We, the peoples and the citizens of the EU, demand the unconditional and immediate stop of all the violence against the women and men in Iran. Until Iran is free, our fury will be bigger than the oppressors. Until the women of Iran are free, we are going to stand with you. Jian, Azadi, women, life, freedom.
میهن آبادی برای دختری که آرزو داشت پسر بود برای زن زندگی آزادی